From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 13th, 2020. The New York Police Department's Hate Crimes Task Force is investigating an alleged assault Saturday on a 51-year-old Orthodox Jewish man in Brooklyn who appears to have been targeted because he is Jewish. The man was walking home when they say three unidentified men in a car stopped and started shouting anti-Semitic slurs at him. The victim responded, and the men got out of the car, pushed him to the ground, and punched him several times. The victim needed stitches and was treated for a broken finger. The Anti-Defamation League today announced that it is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of whomever was responsible. Interim Regional Director of the ADL New York, New Jersey region, Etzion Neuer, said this is horrific and the hate must stop. Sadly, he said, as we have had to say many times in the past, no one should fear hate-motivated violence while walking down the street in their own city simply because of the religion they practice. Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the IDF hosted a delegation of 12 ambassadors and representatives of the United Nations Security Council, as well as representatives from countries with forces in UNIFIL, the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, of Israel's northern border on Friday. This just ahead of a UNIFIL mandate, which is seeking renewal at the end of next month, which gives the international force the tools and ability to maintain calm in the region and prevent terrorists from gaining power. The delegates were shown a terror tunnel dug by Lebanese-based and Iran-backed terror group Hezbollah that was exposed and destroyed by the IDF. The Foreign Ministry's head of International Organizations Division, Avivit Bar-Ilan, said effective fulfillment of the UNIFIL mandate is necessary in order to ensure regional stability and to prevent Hezbollah from gaining power in southern Lebanon. She said, we expect the UNSC members to adopt a decision that will grant UNIFIL the power to fulfill its duty without restrictions. The Biden presidential campaign has hired a Jewish outreach director, Aaron Kiak. Kiak previously served as the communications director for Representative Jerry Nadler and as communications director and top Middle East advisor for former Representative Steve Rothman, as well as working for President Barack Obama's re-election campaign in 2012, and then serving as interim executive director for the National Jewish Democratic Council. A Jewish cemetery in Germany was vandalized late last week. The European Jewish Association confirmed yesterday that dozens of gravestones in the Heiliger Sand Cemetery in the city of Worms, believed to be Europe's oldest Jewish cemetery, were shattered and desecrated. Local Rabbi Joseph Havlin said, we are witnessing, and not for the first time, desecration of German Jewish cemeteries, alongside a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism in the entire public sphere. We call on the German government, he said, to declare an uncompromising fight against anti-Semitism to ensure that such acts do not repeat. Chairman of the Jewish Agency for Israel, Isaac Herzog, sent a letter today to Germany's ambassador to Israel, Suzanne Wassam-Reiner, urging German authorities to bring those responsible to justice. Austria is poised to adopt an amendment to create an annual award to help the fight against anti-Semitism. The Jewish Chronicle reports that an Austrian parliamentary committee passed a draft law last week and is expected to formally adopt it for the Simon Wiesenthal Prize, named for the late Austrian Holocaust survivor and Nazi hunter. The prize will be presented to individuals or organizations that have made a special civil society commitment against anti-Semitism and for education about the Holocaust. Wiesenthal's daughter, Paulinka Kreisberg-Wiesenthal, wrote that the move sends an important signal at a time of rising racism, anti-Semitism, and Holocaust denial. DeSean Jackson is making good on his promise to learn about anti-Semitism after apologizing for posting anti-Semitic quotes falsely attributed to Hitler and sharing his admiration for Louis Farrakhan. The Eagles wide receiver held a Zoom call with a Holocaust survivor this past weekend and accepted his invitation to visit Auschwitz. Jackson spoke with 94-year-old Edward Mossberg, who wore a concentration camp uniform during the call. Mossberg chairs the Holocaust commemoration group From the Depths. Jackson called the conversation a powerful experience. He wrote on Instagram, "Thank you, Mr. Mossberg, for your valuable time and insight." He said, "I'm taking this time to continue with educating myself and bridging the gap between different cultures, communities, and religions. Love to all." From the Depths founder Johnny Daniels, who was also on the Zoom call, said that dialogue was key. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS from Monday, July the 13th at 7 o'clock. It's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth at 7:30. The first episode of the JBS original series From Date to Mate, the mockumentary that follows 4 Jewish singles on their quest for love. At 8, author Susanna Heschel, chair of the Jewish Studies program at Dartmouth, examines how the experience of centuries of Jewish exile inevitably shapes Jewish life in the contemporary diaspora. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Shai Held, founding president and dean and chair in Jewish thought of the Hadar Institute. Then Rabbi Naomi Levy speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up next, Shachar Azani speaks with Shai Avni, IDF Navy SEAL in Reserve, who is leader and co-founder of the grassroots initiative Combat Fitness for Israeli Teens. He shares his experience in bridging societal gaps through fitness and emotional support. And that's the JBS News update for Monday, July the 13th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.